Uh, One of the moments from that Miami game that's probably going to be remembered most is the whole Guzan into the net thing after that Miami goal. When you've watched that back, what did you make of that?
I don't know what to make of it, to be honest. I'm glad he's out of the net. Um, just now we're obviously able to laugh about it, and because we've advanced, so it's just more funny. Um, but bizarre that nothing comes out of that in terms of some type of punishment. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. It's only about winning the game, and Brad's out of the net now and can play back in his normal position.
When you watched the game, what were the things that y'all did well, do you think, and what are things that have got to get cleaned up before Orlando?
Um, it's such a it's such a bizarre game. I think when we've played them before too, because things get opened up in transition as they do a lot in this league in general. But like every game with them, I think has opened up and been end to end at times, and really you're trying to eliminate their big four players and three the other night, at least from the start of it. So it was that went well in terms of trying to limit as much of the chance creation that they do have. There was a real attention to detail and just work rate to try to stop and eliminate those threats. But we'll have to be better in terms of being more organized, and I think the game will be different. So it's hard to tell exactly what that game will be versus what we just had. It'll be a whole different scenario.
Rob, speaking of work rate has been so important in this run, and especially in that last game, in Game 3, the way the back line just defended the goal to the death. How do you manage the physicality in training, knowing that like you need the energy on game day? You've got 2 weeks now to prepare. How are you managing that part of the session?
Yeah, I mean that's a really good question because these weeks are tricky with international break and guys going, and so many guys going this time. With the group that we have guys that are on different levels, guys that have played some minutes and guys that maybe haven't. So we touched on having our objectives of essentially from a physical standpoint, there'll be guys on different plans essentially, like guys that we can push a little bit more on an individual standpoint of getting them more fitness, other guys that we maybe need to look after and kind of keep them ticking over and get them to that normal game rhythm. Because yeah, in playoffs and obviously in the game that they had, like every little play matters. Whether it's the back line or just the whole group buying into defending and attacking, that's going to be really important.
Has Brad been, I don't want to say put on a plan, but like how do you keep him fresh?
Yeah, I mean, look, they're all on some kind of plan because their bodies are all different. I know that he's 40 going on 21. He feels like, but he's somebody that we have to manage just like the rest of them. He's got his own plan with the goalkeeping coaches or coach. He's got obviously our sports science department that works with him, and he's a good professional. He's played this long for a good reason, so he knows how to look after himself as well.
How do you not do too much in these 2 weeks that you've had? Like the time to prepare. Is it a good thing for you in with your philosophy, or obviously would you be rather going just straight up into the next game?
Yeah, look, there's a couple ways to look at it. I think I'm happy that we're in this position, that we're playing in a semifinal. Would I love an international break in between that? No, that's not ideal, but I don't make excuses for what has come. Now we have a group of guys that are here, and it'll be a smaller group, but we'll focus on just making everybody better that we can and getting them to a good spot, work on little things that we think as a group that we can continue to work on. And then when we start to piece the guys that are coming back from their trips, we can start to really focus in on a game plan. But it's the focus is on all the individuals that we've got here and making sure that we as a group are getting better in a direction.
Are y'all going to have any kind of closed scrimmage or anything to keep some of these guys in kind of game sharpness?
At the moment, no, we don't have anything planned.
How's Jay's ankle coming out of Saturday?
Yeah, it's still tender, it's still sore. I mean, they had 3 days off there that did him some good there, and like Felipe asked there, like that's a player too that he'll be on a different type of fitness plan. It's not about some of these guys. Not about gaining a ton of fitness. It's more about managing how much they actually do because he needs rest for his ankle, or maybe it's a guy like Dax that's a little bit older that is in a decent fitness level, or somebody that needs to work up because they've been injured now for a little bit. So Jay's no different, but he's trending in a better direction.
We talked about Noah a little bit after the game. Very short period of time, but ended up being very important.
Yeah.
How has it been for you keeping him kind of in the mix, even though he hasn't played as much as of late?
he's wise beyond his years. He's got an old soul. Like I think he gets it. He understands the moment of where the team's at. He has really put himself to the side. I think after the first game in Miami, there's a real argument you could look at starting him for the next game. He didn't do anything wrong to come out, and that was the conversation I had with him. Was that this is hard to take. I'm telling you that you did a great job. This is the direction I'm going as a coach and for the group. And he was like, yeah, I got you, no problem. I'll be ready when you need me. And it's a testament to the group too. It's to learn from a young player. It's really cool to see for me that we are learning from a young player and that we can all take something from what his attitude was, because these guys, and I think it goes to everybody else, but you never know when your moment is coming. And his moment came at the end of the game. He made really important plays that we needed, and he's done that. We've also had Shande scored the game winner the other day. There will be somebody that will step up as these playoffs hopefully continue, that they don't know when their moment is coming, but when it comes, it's important. Luis Abrams won. He's not played a lot of minutes, and he's been fantastic. So, yeah, Noah's another example of that. And for a young player to be able to do that, it speaks a lot about him.
Rob, I thought I read where it was one of Doug's articles about how the team is kind of channeling Ted Lasso a little bit lately. The team is finally starting to believe in themselves. Is that something you've noticed as the head coach, seeing these guys slowly start to gain more confidence as you guys are winning these games? Yeah,
I mean, look, there's been we've not been watching episodes of Ted Lasso, but I think winning helps. When you start to win games, there's a belief in themselves, because losing or drawing doesn't help build confidence all the time. You can always say that the numbers are good, expected goals are great, and all those things. But winning helps give you that belief, I think. And for me as a coach, that is me. I lean more into those things, because I think that everyone will have their tactics, and I'm not saying mine are better than others, or everyone has different tactics in the way they implement their styles of plays and things like that based off their personnel. It's not that I don't care about those things. It's that I think that everyone has that to a good degree, and then for me, it's what is going to make you tick a little bit more. So I put a lot of emphasis in that, and I think the guys do as well. They know that come these moments that it can be that tight-knit group that pushes forward. It doesn't mean that we were the record point setter. No, we weren't. But we were in a position that put ourselves here to now play for more games.
Rob, you have time between now until November 24th to change, perhaps, or evolve your message to the players. But do you think, do you plan on sticking with this, no one believes in us, we weren't supposed to be here? Or is it now about perhaps we were supposed to be here and we're here for a reason?
It was never that that I told them we shouldn't be here. So for me, it's always been telling them it's about us, because good or bad, because now people might write something good about them, but it doesn't matter to me. Good or bad, the message just stays the same. Is that block out that noise, because you're never as good as they say and you're not as bad as they say. So you kind of just try to keep that even keel, not let your highs get too high or your lows too low. We have to have our own internal belief that we can do it. And because someone says we're doing a good job, should we believe them? Or if that same person says we did a bad job earlier, do we believe them then? So it's not listening to either. And I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just like, hey guys, don't worry about what that is being said about you. Worry about what we are saying about it ourselves and what we see in each other. So that's really, it's the same message, but in a different way now.
Sure. Okay.
Especially, I think, with this series in particular, it's brought up how important mentality is in the game, not just the tactical aspect, but looking at a game from the mental side. How important is it to find a balance between the tactics and playing on the field, but also the mentality, especially within the group?
Yeah, I mean, there's tactics in every game, and also there's human emotion that as players are sprinting and giving their max effort, and things happen, a call doesn't go their way, how people deal with adversity. I think you see it in every game. So the tactics can be important, but when you get faced with a moment that maybe you're in the back of the net and all of a sudden you're getting flung out of there, and are you going to hit the guy, or are you going to calm down and channel your emotions? I don't know what would have happened if he did. So in these moments, especially in the playoffs, and everyone's fighting for one more day. Everyone's fighting for it to continue on because they want to get to MLS Cup. So the mentality piece is important, and it's about keeping your emotions as consistent as you can, and either channeling when it's going in a good way or pulling yourself out of a rut if it's not going your way.
Speaking of consistency, the past few games, you really haven't had to make a lot of wholesale changes within the starting lineup. like maybe one or two at
The
a time?
past 2 games at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
The first game we had to make 2 changes in the first 20 minutes,
Well,
30 minutes.
yeah, but the starting lineup was
Yeah, yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
But how much of that consistency helps to breed the confidence in the guys that they know what the other guy's going to do? They don't have to think anymore. They can just play.
Yeah, consistency is important in terms of the lineups. I think that they also all have a pretty good understanding of each other. But yeah, I'm sure that does help them. But they also, every situation is different. I've always told them everyone has to be ready. So,
End it there? Perfect.
great. Thank you all. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.